Hey guys, so welcome to the third and final measurement you'll need in order to measure the solar capacity of your roof. And this third and final measurement is to measure your roof's tilt, also known as its pitch. Now when we talk about the pitch of a roof, what we are interested in is this angle right here. Now this is the angle sort of between the flat building meeting part of your roof and the actual angled part. And this is the angle that's going to tell us sort of the intensity of the sun's rays that can hit an array on your roof throughout the day. So this is a very important measurement, and we're going to do our best to be as accurate as possible, but as safe as possible. So we need to come up with a way to measure our roof's tilt without leaving the ground. Now, if you haven't had a chance to ruminate on that and think about it and design your own method yet, I would very much recommend pausing this video and taking half an hour to an hour, seeing if you can brainstorm something, try some stuff out, because every single one of you is very capable of brainstorming a nice method. When you think you've got it, or when you're interested in hearing how I did it, you can come back to this video, pick right back up, and I will let you know exactly how to calculate your roof's tilt from the ground. If you're ready for that, if you want to calculate your roof's tilt from the ground, I have enlisted the help of my mom and my little sister, Rebecca, and my mom is Kathy, back in Kentucky, and I video called with them and asked them to help me do some measurements on my parents' roof, because my roof here in Cambridge is totally flat. There's no tilt at all. But the house I grew up in, my parents' house in northern Kentucky, has a wonderfully tilted roof, and we were able to very successfully do some calculations using their roof. So throughout this video, I'll be referencing them and the excellent work that they did. So first things first, let's take a look at what exactly it takes to get that angle. So the things we might need and the things we might want to use. First thing I'm definitely going to want is a tape measure, because taking these measurements is going to be very, very important. The next thing I'm going to want to do is think about the angles involved in a setup. If I'm on the ground, what can I do to create a situation that has multiple angles that are related? And then how can I use those angles to my advantage? Because the angle I want, remember, is that one right there. Now, how can I create an angle that's closer to the ground that is congruent to the angle on the roof? And that is where our measurements come in. The first thing you're going to want to do is maybe find a partner. Now, my mom and Becca did this together, and I think it was a little bit helpful to have an extra set of hands, but it's not totally out of the question that you could do this on your own. It might be helpful to find an extra set of hands. And what you're going to want to do is go outside, find the section of the roof whose tilt you want to know, and stand facing the roof. So the sort of the wide edge of the roof should be facing you. Then what you want to do is you want to create a secondary angle closer to the ground with you at one of the points, and that is going to become a congruent angle to the angle up on the roof. The way we do that is by lining up our eyesight with the angle of the roof. Now this can be a little bit tricky, and this might also be a helpful place to have a friend, because my parents' house, for example, has this little slope right before we get to the gutter. So to ignore that and to keep the actual angle of the slope as accurate as we could, my mother stepped back and actually helped my younger sister get aligned, and I helped as well by helping line up on the screen so that she could get as close to being at that angle as possible. And you can see in this image here that Becca is in fact sort of at this nice angle where her eyesight is lining up with the slope of my roof. With that done, I'll draw here on this image, you can see that Becca has now created, at sort of herself as a focus, another angle that is equal to the angle of my roof's tilt. All we need now to find that angle are two distances. The distance between Becca and the house, or where the roof ends, rather. So in this case, that's where the side of my house is. And we need the distance from Becca's eyes to the roof. So those two measurements give us the base of our triangle and the leg of our triangle, and that will allow us to find our angle using trigonometry. So again, I'm going to go through that one more time. What you want to do here is stand so that your vision is aligned with the roof slope. This will allow you to create a secondary angle and find an angle using trigonometry by finding the distance between you and the house and the distance between your eyes and the roof. Once you have those two numbers, it's simple trig. We're going to use the tangent, SOHCAHTOA. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. In particular, we're going to use the arctangent. We'll do the arctangent of those two numbers, one over the other, to get the angle of our tilt. Once you have that angle, make sure it is in degrees, and you are good to go. That's it. Just a couple of measurements, a couple of minutes, and you have the tilt of your roof. And that's it. Good luck, PhysCalc.